Alright, this is the review for the grade 7 unit 1 test. This is your first test with me. Make sure you study this hard because this will count for a lot. Of course, if you fail it miserably, you can correct it for a 70. Let's go through some of these questions. First question. Which group contains an equal fraction, decimal, and percent? So we've got to be able to compare these and see which ones are all equal. Now, how do I compare fractions, decimals, and percents? What's our strategy? What? Dr. Pepper's how you change. How do we compare numbers like this? There's a strategy that we use. Change them to what? Not decimals, percents. Change them all to percents. Alright? Before you've learned to change them to decimals, we like to change them to percents because you guys don't mess up the placeholders as much. 1/2 is a percent. Hopefully you already know is 50%. That leaves us with 50.0. How do we change that? How do you go from decimal to percent? Move it 2 times to the right. 1 and 2. That would give me 5,000%. Are all of those the same? 50%, 50%, 5,000%? 5,000% is the same as 50%? No. Those are not all the same. Alright. Next we have 4/5. 4 divided by 5 is 0.8. 0.8 as a percentage is 80%. 0.8 as a percent is 80%. Are all those the same? Yes, they are. They are all 80%. 2/3 as a percent is 66.6 repeating percent. You should know that off the top of your head. These are automatically not the same. That can't be our answer. 1/4 is 25%. 2.5 is 250%. So that one doesn't work. So this would be our answer up here. Alright. Any questions on that one? Alright. What I would write down is change them all to percents. That is your strategy. Change them all to percents. Next. It was estimated in 2010 that 66% of the U.S. population was 35 years of age or older. What is the best estimate of the population that was younger than 35? Well, how would we figure that out? 100 minus 66. The most common answer I get is 44. It's actually 34. Now, remember this is estimating. Okay? This is estimating. If our answers are in fractions, what fraction is pretty close to 34%?
30%.
No. What's 33% as a fraction?
33 over 100.
That's going to be your answer. It's not exactly 34, but if we look at our question, it says best estimate. Of the choices they give you, 1/3 will be your closest. Most common answer that people pick is 44. That is wrong. 1/3 is the closest to 34% that you're going to see. Next question talks about drawing a model that represents 5 squared. Now this is what we did yesterday. So how could I draw a model that represents 5 squared? What? Nope. I'm drawing a picture Alright, so is it just done? Like that? Is that 5 squared? No. That's 5 times 2. Not what we're looking for.
5 times 5, no. But it's square, so yeah.
What does 5 squared mean? What?
5 times 5.
5 times 5. So we have a square with 5 rows of 5. This is what we did yesterday in class. All right. 5 rows of 5 gives us 5 squared, which is equal to what? 25. If you want to count it, there's 25 squares there. All right. All right. On the next one. Well, let's read it first. The Steels are buying a home. The table shows the interest rates for home loans at 4 different banks. Which bank has the lowest interest rate for home loans? Which one has the highest? All right. So looking at these numbers, let's think a little bit. What do they all have in common? 7. They all have 7 as their whole number. So does 7 help us figure out which is greatest or least? No. It does nothing to helping us compare these, so I'm going to get rid of them. Next, they're all percents. Well, that doesn't help me either. Not when they're all fractions on the inside. So, when we break it down, these fractions are going to be what tells us what's greatest and what's least. Okay? How do I compare fractions? What are we going to do? Close. We don't cross multiply anymore. Not decimal. We change everything to a percent. That is how you compare things in this class. Change them to percentages. Right? We don't cross multiply anymore. Alright, so we have 3/8. I got to say 3 divided by 8. Alright. It gives me 0.375. What is 0.375 as a percentage?
37.5%.
37.5%. What is 1/2 as a percent? 50%. Everyone should be able to do that in their head. Then we have 3/5. That's 3 divided by 5. That gives me 0.6. What is 0.6 as a percentage? Alright, and finally this last one is a little bit weird because it uses the number 7, and I hate the number 7 in fractions. 3 divided by 7. 7 goes into 30 4 times. It goes into 20 twice. It goes into 60 8 times, and it's going to continue. It goes on and on and on, and it takes forever. I think it eventually starts repeating. So, let's just stop there. All right, 0.428, blah, 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 blah. What is that as a percent? 42.8, blah, blah, blah percent. Now, the reason I went ahead and stopped is looking for the lowest. Does it matter what we have to the right of that 8? No. What is the lowest? Nope. What's 37.5% is the lowest. So Bank A would be our lowest interest rate. What's our highest? Bank C at 60% would be our highest. Right. Everybody see how we compared those? All right. The next one. This is probably the most commonly missed question on this test. The number of seats available at a football stadium is 655. During a football game, 393 seats were filled. What percent of the seats at the football stadium were filled? I can't make a percent out of this, but what can I make? What do you know how to make?
Decimal.
You can make, okay, what's the decimal?
Oh, well, fraction.
Yeah, you can't make a decimal straight from this. You can make a fraction. Alright, in the bottom is the total number. What's the total number?
655.
655 total seats. How many of them were filled?
393.
Now we have a fraction. It wants that in percent form. So, top number goes inside. Bottom number goes outside. This is going to be fun. How many times will 655 go into 393? 0 times. Now we're going to have to play a little bit of a guessing game. 655 times. 655. How many times do you think it'll go into 3,930? 2? No. 5 is a good guess. Let's give it a shot. Oh, sorry. 17. And 3175. When we subtract, oh, 3275, I'm sorry. We get 655. So did we go high enough? We didn't go high enough, so we've got to try 6 now instead of 5. 655 times 6. Let's see what that gives us. That's 30, 33, 39, 39, 30 exactly. So when we divide, we get 0.6. What is 0.6 as a percentage? 60% is your answer. Easy enough? All right. On a test, Henry answered 4 out of 5, Alex answered 3 out of 4, Sandra 7 out of 10, and Mariah 13 out of 20. Compare their grades. How do I compare their grades? What do we do? Change them all to percents. We'll have to do it to a decimal first, but we want them all to be percents. So, didn't mean to do that. First, we've got 4 over 5. That's 4 divided by 5. Gives me 0.8. So what percent did he get right? 80%. Now we got Alex. 3 over 4. What is that as a percentage? Think about quarters. 75%. Then we have 7 over 10. What's 7 over 10 as a decimal? It's 0.7 or 70%. And then we've got 13 over 20. We've got to say 13 divided by 20. 20 doesn't go into 13. Goes into 136 times. It goes into 105 times. 0.65 is 65%. Now that we've got them all changed to percentages, who made the highest grade? Henry. Who made the lowest grade? Mariah made a 65. That's the lowest grade. All right. So, number 7 is the most missed question, I think, overall. It is definitely the highest missed question. You know why? Everybody skips it. Do not skip number 7. It says, explain how you determined your answer for the previous question. How did we decide the answer to the previous question? Change them all to percent and compared. That's what we did. That was the strategy we used. That's all you've got to write. Change them to percent and compare. That should be a gimme question, but every year, everyone leaves it blank. Alright, the model below can be used to represent the area of a square with a side length of 6 units. What is another way to represent the length of the side of the square? That would be just this part of the square. What did we use yesterday to represent just the length of the side? What have we been talking about? Length of the side of the square. What's the area of that square? 36. How would you find the side length of that square? Which is, what did you just do in your head? You said 6 times 6 would give you 36. What is that doing? What have we been learning about?
Square root.
That's square root. To come up with 6 times 6, you said what times itself equals 36, right? What times itself equals 36? That's what you did in your head. All right? And you get 6, which we knew was the answer, but this is the other way to represent the side of the side length of that square. Again, that's what we talked about yesterday. You did it in your head right, you just didn't know what to call it. Square root. This last one, or not last, the next one, I want you to change all these numbers into percents and fill them in the blank. Alright? You don't have to worry about decimal, but you've got to make them into percents. Alright, so, let's look at them. You got 2 over 5, that's 2 divided by 5.
40.
Gives you 0.4 or 40%. 21 over 100, what is that as a percentage?
21%.
We can go straight to percent because it's over 100. Alright. We have 4 over 25. Alright, you're just doing times 4. I know what you're doing. But 4 divided by 25 goes into 40 once. Goes into 150 6 times. That gives you 16%. And then the last one, 23 over 100, is just 23%. Okay. Next 2 should be gimme problems. Minnesota during the winter. Jamie recorded the temperatures in the table below. Which of these show the temperatures from warmest to coldest? Which one of these is the warmest? Positive 12. Negative 15 is very, very cold. What's the next warmest? 10. What's the next warmest? Negative 8. Negative 15 degrees is the coldest. Remember, going back to using money. Here I have $12. Here I have $10. Here I owe $8. And here I owe $15. Right. Do you remember talking about that? Alright. Elliot was given the integer cards to put in order from least to greatest. Which one of these is the very smallest? Negative 5. Then? Negative 4. Then? Negative 3. There we go. Least to greatest. Alright. An arrangement of 12 rows of 12 circles can be used as a model to represent the value of what perfect square? What? 144. If I have 12 rows of 12, that's the same as saying 12 times 12, right? 12 times 12 is 144. Is 144 a perfect square?
Yes.
Yes, because 12 squared gives you 144. Again, hopefully that's a gimme. Alright. Which conclusion can be drawn from the table? It was colder on Wednesday than Saturday. Alright, well, Wednesday was -7, Saturday was -14. Which was colder? Saturday was colder, not Wednesday. The coldest day of that week was Thursday. What was the coldest day overall? Saturday. The warmest day was Tuesday. What was the warmest day? Monday. And it was warmer on Friday than it was on Wednesday. Which day was warmer? Friday. -1 is warmer than -7. Alright. Which equation can be used to determine S, the length of the side of the front face? What do we use to find the length of the side? Square root. Square root of what? Square root of 9 would give me 3. Right there. Alright, this one gets missed quite a bit as well. Samantha's savings account paid 2.5% interest per month. Which of the following shows 2.5% as a fraction? Alright, we've got to change it to a decimal, change that decimal to a fraction. So, first things first, what is 2.5% as a decimal? How do I change percent to decimal? I have to say, I have to move my decimal 2 times to the left, and I get 0.025. Alright, now I'm going to make that into a fraction. So draw your line and your 1. How many decimal places were there?
3.
So I want 3 zeros, and then the original number in the top. 25 over 1,000 is my fraction. I'm going to have to reduce it though. We'll reduce by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 1,000 divided by 5? 1,000 divided by 5. 200. Alright, we still got to reduce that. 5 divided by 5? 1. 200 divided by 5? 40. We got 1 over 40 is the reduced fraction. Alright, last problem. Lana wanted to buy some tile squares that are 1 square foot each. Her room is a square with an area of 81 square feet. Draw a diagram that shows the total number and arrangement of tiles Lana will need to cover the floor. What do I need to draw? A square. My bad. Oh. Is that my answer then?
No.
What do I got to do now?
Times with 1 or
Divided
divided by 9.
by 9? Like that?
Yeah.
What do I need to put on this square? 9 by 9. Alright. So now I gotta draw it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Does it have to be pretty? No. So long as I can see that it's a 9 by 9 grid, you'll be good. Alright? Total of 81 tiles, area of 81. There you go. That's your answer. Alright, that's it.